Atlanta Faze just absolutely dominated Optic Texas. Now, I know people are kind of getting over dramatic with the result. As an Optic fan, I'm not too worried. I was a little bit disappointed, especially seeing Seattle actually beat Faze. I wasn't expecting Optic to win yesterday, but I was kind of hoping for a closer series. But I really want to talk about Faze and just kind of give them credit, because one thing I noticed about this team, I'll say since their introduction to the CDL, I think people look at them and say like they've been the best team since they've been introduced, and I definitely agree with that. But for me, it's not because of their peak. I think if you look at Cold War, they were phenomenal. Their peak was amazing. But I think for me, the reason why they've been so good, and the reason why I consider them the best squad, like best team in the game, the trio of like BZ, Simp and Celium since their introduction, is because of their floor. Their floor as a team has been top 3, top 2 for majority of their career together. So what that means is their floor is like their lowest. Obviously they've had a few anomalies, right? They've had a few events where they finished lower, absolutely, but for most of the time, for majority of their events, you see them on a Sunday, you see them make basically a grand final for most of the time. Even if we look back at Vanguard, we saw this team absolutely dominate. They weren't able to close out the events, but they were basically making the finals. I believe they've made, like, honestly, no exaggeration, I would say almost half of the finals in the CDL. That's it. I don't know the actual stat, but that alone is crazy. So when I look at Optic Texas, like, as a fan, one thing I would want to see is them raise their floor a little bit more, because sometimes I don't know what we're going to get. And it kind of goes back to last year. Like, we won champs, we were like 12th in Major 4, and I feel like that's just one thing I've noticed about Optic, because like their floor as a team is a little bit lower than I would like. It's not that their ceiling isn't good, because I think their ceiling is unbelievable, obviously winning champs and just generally they can compete on any given day, but their floor is what I worry about. So for me, any good team, they have to have a high floor. That's why if you look back at the Optic Dynasty as well, I think what makes them so good, obviously they were winning loads of events, but just generally, like, that you knew that any event that they went to, they would finish a top 3 finish, kind of guaranteed, like most of the time. Again, there was a few anomalies, champs here and there, but most of the time they're like, their floor was so high, and that's for me what makes them such a good team. And yeah, I was kind of curious, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that they are by far the best team in the CDL era, the Faze team? And if Optic Dynasty was competing now, who would you guys back? Would you guys back the Prime Dynasty, or would you back the Faze boys? Let me know down below. I'm very interested to see your thoughts.